Von Huffman is the last living survivor from the gunboat USS Panay. He joined the Navy 78 years ago and is now 94 years old.
I joined the Navy December the 2nd, 1929. I was 16. The old man signed for me, said he was 18.
Like many sailors in the 1930s, Huffman was drawn to serve in the Asiatic Fleet.
Everyone talked about how good it was out there, and everything was, cheap.
The USS Panay was one of several American gunboats to operate on the Yangtze River. Their mission was to protect American interests along the river, including the Standard Oil tankers that cruised from Shanghai to Nanking and beyond.
It was a good ship. It was a real good ship. They had Chinese cooks on there, and you'd tell them what you wanted to eat, and they'd give it to you. You could order your own breakfast. If you wanted bacon and eggs, you'd order them, and you get it. On the big ships, you didn't do that.
In December of 1937, the Japanese Imperial Army began a major offensive towards Nanking.
We were in Shanghai when the Japs decided they wanted to control the whole works, and they took over.
As they closed in, the USS Panay was dispatched to monitor the situation and evacuate the few Americans left in the city, members of the embassy staff and journalists.
Nanking was in turmoil. Japs was killing Chinese murdering them just like nothing. We couldn't believe it, what they done there. They just murdered everybody.
As the Japanese moved towards the city, the Panay situation became dangerous.
They were firing the guns and real close to the Panay. Old Commander Hughes, he was the captain on the ship, so they decided to move upriver. So we went up the river 221 miles from Shanghai up.
As it proceeded upriver, the Panay escorted several Standard Oil tankers. The next day, Sunday, December 12th, Panay seemed to be out of danger. The ships dropped anchor and the crew had lunch. Then suddenly, the sound of planes could be heard. Panay was under attack.
I was sleeping, taking a nap. The first bomb hit the bow of the ship and blowed it all to heck. They were dive bombers. They were real close, you could hear them. Well, we all went to the engine room. The bombs was dropping all around us and the shrapnel was falling. Any bomb that made the noise, you heard it coming. Zoom and boom, everybody got hit. Well, we didn't have enough brains to get scared. We was shooting back at them with the machine guns, but they was them old-fashioned ones that wasn't worth a dime. The pantsless gunner was up on one of them. They tore his pants off with a bomb, on the first bomb, and he was manning the machine guns without the pants.
Executive Officer Arthur Anders took command from the badly injured Captain Hughes. But Anders was also injured, hit in the throat by a piece of shrapnel. He could not speak.
The captain and the executive officer, well, they were exposed. They were up on the bridge looking, watching, and they dropped the bomb, hit the first thing. And he was real bad, but he was blood all over him. The captain told the exec to abandon ship. He couldn't talk. The only way he could talk, he wrote it with the blood on his finger on the wall. Abandon ship. We started abandoning ship right away. They started hauling people over the shore. It was funny. I went to my locker and I had a watch, and I got in a hock shop in Norfolk, and I took it out of my pocket and put it on the shelf in my locker, and I jumped over the side. I don't know what I was thinking about.
Huffman didn't have a life jacket, having given his to the newsreel photographer Norman Alley. The swift-moving river was very dangerous, but Huffman felt he could swim it.
I put a mattress in, it was supposed to be non-sinkable, and it sunk right away, and I got a floor mat, wooden, throwed it in and jumped in the water. But it didn't work. I was swimming. Francis Gunner, he saved my life. He pulled me out of the water.
Although temporarily safe on shore, the survivors were convinced the United States and Japan must be at war, and afraid of what the Japanese might do next.
I thought they were going to look us up and murderous. Everyone thought that.
Immediately, the survivors on land began to care for their wounded. While out in the river, their ship, the Panay, sank. The ragtag group began traversing overland. After a long night of traveling, the survivors reached the fishing village of Huffman, where they were finally able to rest.
I remember when we went to Huffman, the Chinese treated us perfect.
Here the survivors learned that the Japanese were not at war with the U.S., and that their rescue was imminent.
Then we left there and went in the Grand Canal between the Yangtze and the Yellow River. And we went down to a town, I don't know what it was. That's where we stayed overnight. There were boats there, the Wahoo was there, and quite a few limey boats.
The British gunboat Ladybird and the American gunboats made a procession to Shanghai, carrying the survivors and the dead. Huffman's own family feared the worst.
Panay got sunk, and I was on it. Yeah, they thought I could have been killed.
Huffman and the passengers and crew of the Panay had survived a major incident, but the fact that only 2 people were killed as a result of the attack, and a quick apology from the Japanese government, averted an even greater disaster. For his part, von Huffman always believed the attack was intentional.
Should have probably took care of him right then, but Roosevelt knew he wasn't ready. The Japs were just testing us out, and they found out we were weak. We done what they wanted to. That's why they sent them planes over and sunk the whole fleet.
Von Huffman continued his career in the U.S. Navy and served during World War II in the Pacific. He never reported his injuries as a result of the attack on the Panay. Nearly 40 years later, Executive Officer Arthur Anders put in papers, and Huffman received the Purple Heart.